Last month, the far-left school board in Loudoun County, Virginia, passed one of the most far-reaching and radical trans policies in the country. Under the new rules, male students who identify as female will be able to use female restrooms and locker rooms. Of course, females who identify as males will be able to do the reverse. But you notice that there are never as many girls wanting to access the boys' locker room as there are boys wanting to access the girls' locker room. Same for sports teams. A strange coincidence, isn't it? But the policy goes beyond sports teams and locker rooms. It also requires teachers to use the preferred pronouns of their students. Now, magnanimously, teachers will not be punished if they have an unintentional slip and accidentally utter an incorrect, read correct pronoun. But any teacher who intentionally and with malice aforethought dares to use proper grammar in their classroom will be in violation and, suffer the so far vaguely outlined consequences. This part of the policy is particularly odious. I mean, it's all odious, but this presents special complications because gender-confused kids can quite literally change their pronouns on a daily or hourly basis. That's part of what it means to be fluid. It doesn't really mean anything to be fluid, but if it means anything, it means that it can change by the second, maybe. And they might invent new pronouns on the spot. They might demand that their teachers speak in absolute gibberish. And the teacher will be expected to remember which gibberish and then change to different gibberish if they're instructed to do so. All in all, teachers are being made to affirm falsehoods, to speak untruths, to babble incoherently, to reject the rules of grammar and the English language, and ultimately to abandon their role as educator in favor of becoming high priests of the leftist religion. Now, many teachers in the county and across the country seem more than happy to fill this role. We're already filling it, many of them. But some have resigned in protest or filed lawsuits to challenge the new rules. One teacher, Tanner Cross, an elementary physical education instructor in the district, was fired after speaking out against the policy during a school board meeting a few months ago. Let's listen to his remarks again because it's very brief but powerful and true. Here he is.
My name is Tanner Cross, and I am speaking out of love for those who suffer with gender dysphoria. 60 Minutes this past Sunday interviewed over 30 young people who transitioned, but they felt led astray because lack of pushback or how easy it was to make physical changes to their bodies in just 3 months. They are now detransitioning. It's not my intention to hurt anyone, but there are certain truths that we must face when ready. We condemn school policies like 80-40 and 80-35 because it will damage children, defile the holy image of God. I love all of my students, but I will never lie to them regardless of the consequences. I'm a teacher, but I serve God first, and I will not affirm that a biological boy can be a girl and vice versa because it's against my religion, it's lying to a child, it's abuse to a child, and it's sinning against our God.
Now, Cross was, as I said, fired for that. He was fired for disagreeing with the school board. That, they decided, is an offense worthy of termination. Fortunately, a judge stepped in and reinstated Cross to his position, clarifying that school boards cannot, in fact, fire teachers for disagreeing with them. It's public comments. You're supposed to stand up there and give your opinion. And they fired him for giving an opinion they don't like. Tanner is one teacher taking a brave stance against sinister lunacy. There are others, and there are parents too, but they're outnumbered. And so I would like to help change that. That's why I will personally be coming to Loudoun County, Virginia on September 28th, which is the date of their next school board meeting, to help lead a rally against all of this madness. The rally will be at 5 p.m. on September 28th at 21,000 Education Court in Ashburn. Now, some of us will also try to speak during the meeting itself, but the board has changed the rules in recent months to make it harder to do that. They won't allow crowds inside the building during public comments. They can set the time limit for public comments down to 1 minute if they decide. These are obviously tactics meant to mute voices of dissent, which is why I want to show up with hundreds and hundreds of those voices and set up shop right outside the building. And I'm asking anyone in the vicinity to come and make your voice heard as well. Now, I can tell you for my part that, I don't want to just hang out on the sidelines and complain into a camera anymore. I mean, I'm still going to complain into the camera, but my efforts will go beyond that. Those who push evil and insanity must be confronted directly in person. Schools that harm children have to be confronted. We can all sit around lamenting the disintegration of our culture, saying, oh man, isn't it too bad that they're mutilating the minds and souls and bodies of a generation of children? Gee, what a shame. Oh, well, let's see what else is on TV. Or we can get up, get out, and do something about it. There's power in numbers, but those numbers have to be mobilized and brought together in one place. Numbers don't mean anything. All this stuff about being the silent majority. I hate that phrase, silent majority. I don't think it's true. I don't know if it's true. I doubt that it's true. I almost hope that it isn't, because shame on us if we're in the majority still and silent. Doesn't mean anything. It's not anything to be proud of. We're in the majority and we're too afraid to say anything. Yay, go us. Numbers don't mean anything if we are silent and fractured and disorganized and too afraid to speak above a whisper, content to voice our disapproval through, sad-faced emojis on social media. Now, I announced this rally on Twitter a couple days ago, and already I've heard from the opposition in Loudoun County. They are, to say the least, not happy that we're coming. More than one person has threatened violence against me. These are people who are so determined to rob young girls of their privacy and their identity that they will threaten to assault or kill you if you try to prevent it. They believe so strongly that boys should be in the girls' bathroom that they will, they say, commit violent felonies to ensure that it happens. Now that makes me afraid, not for myself, I'm still coming, you're not going to scare me away, but for the kids whose minds and bodies these slobbering maniacs, these predator freaks are trying to destroy. Another criticism I've heard is that I'm not from Loudoun County. I'm an outside agitator, they say. This is none of my business. Well, even if that's true, I'm making it my business. Protecting children is everybody's business. Opposing child abuse is everybody's business. I don't care where kids are being harmed. It doesn't become any less outrageous or any less of a concern if it's happening in a different zip code. Your zip code is different. Go away and let us brainwash these kids in peace. Sorry, I don't find that argument terribly compelling. And besides, outside forces, national advocacy groups, Hollywood media, politicians routinely inject themselves into these issues to ensure that schools and towns and states are run as they prefer. I can guarantee that if a school board passed a rule forbidding biological males from entering the female restroom, Hollywood celebrities and the Human Rights Campaign and CNN and all the rest of them would be chiming in on the issue, calling for boycotts, everything else. And none of the people telling me to butt out and mind my business would be saying the same to them. So this is a one-way street. When they need reinforcements from national figures, they're not shy about going out and getting them. But if the other side does the same, suddenly they become firm proponents of the principles of subsidiarity. I'm not going to abide by rules that change depending on whose side they benefit. Not going to happen. So complain all you want. Tell me I don't belong. Tell me this is none of my concern. Threaten to kill me. I'm still going to be there. One other point. Tanner Cross, in his brief but really great speech, was correct that this is a religious rights issue. It's also correct to argue, as I just have, that this is a privacy and safety issue. Okay, all of that is true, and those seem to be the main points that we on this side, the sane side, make. That this religious liberty, it infringes on privacy of girls in locker rooms, and it's also unsafe. That's all true. Those are all good points. But this is also, we have to keep insisting, something bigger and broader than that. More than anything else, more important than religious rights or even safety is truth. This is about truth. Truth is the most important thing. Truth is more important than liberty. It's more important than life itself. There could be no liberty without truth. There could be no life, at least not a life worth living, without truth. All of the good things in life, love, freedom, you name it, all of it, they're all predicated on truth. They all exist within truth. The trans agenda is more than anything an attack on truth. It is an attempt to build a society which fundamentally rejects and does not recognize truth. They want us all to live outside of truth. They want our kids to be educated in lies, in darkness, not in truth, not in light. That's the battle we're fighting, first and foremost. And it will certainly take more than a rally at a school board to win that fight, but you have to start somewhere. And so I hope you'll join us. Listen, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.